Hi everyone, I'm MaryAnn. I'm a voice coach and visual artist from Singapore, currently in Singapore, and welcome to another installment of my weekly vlog series, Find Your Voice. So this is where I share what I am learning and have learned in my journey as a singer, as a voice coach, as a singing instructor, as someone who is pursuing whatever it is that really matters to me, going after my dreams, and creating a worthy and meaningful purpose for myself in my life. And ultimately, I believe that this whole journey is really about finding your capital V voice, which is whatever it is that you are meant to express over the course of your entire life, whatever it is that really matters to you, that you want to create in your life. That is our way of expressing ourselves through the very essence of our being and through every single aspect of ourselves and every single part of ourselves. So our physical voice is the most direct channel of our expression, and it is something that we're naturally born with. It's something that nobody taught you how to use. You learn how to speak, but speaking is not the same as using your voice, because our voice encompasses more than just speech. And it is a very direct way of expressing ourselves. And so when we work on the direct means of expression that we already are naturally born with, it spills over into every other aspect of your life. It spills over into every other way of how you express yourself in your life. And so that's what I'm all about as a voice coach. I work with you on your voice such that you can work on your capital V voice eventually and indirectly, and whatever it is that is holding you back from expressing yourself verbally is also the exact same things that are holding you back from pursuing your dreams and going after whatever it is that really matters to you, and whatever other internal barriers that you have in your life as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, or you can also directly message me through any one of my links in the write-ups attached to these videos, and subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications so you will be the first to know every single time there is a new vlog that is ready for you to watch. So today I wanted to share about how it's so important to not compare yourself with anybody else. Every single person is on their own journey, and even when it comes to singing and the voice, we all have different levels where we're starting at. And there is a common misconception that, some people are meant to be singers and some people are just not. And I would say the more accurate statement would be some people are meant to be professional singers and most people are just not. So, when it comes to being a singer, I think that every single person is able to learn how to sing. Like, when your voice is something that you're naturally born with, it's something that nobody taught you how to use. Ever since you were a baby, you already had the full ability of your voice. I mean, babies are really, really loud, and they're also very free in their expression. And if you listen to the way babies cry and the way they express themselves, there is a whole range of, pitches that they express in. Well, most babies have a higher pitched voice, but in terms of the range, there's a whole lot of them. They're very expressive. And this is something that we lose as we get older because of the constraints that we put on our own voice when we learn to speak, and the social and psychological constraints that get placed on us as we're growing up and learning how to adapt and behave in civilized society. So the thing here is that when we work on your voice and expression, it's not so much about improving your voice, but it's more undoing some of these things that have limited your voice and expression in the first place. Because these are the exact same things that are also stopping you from going after whatever it is that really matters to you. And by undoing them through working on your voice and working on your expression in terms of your voice and singing, we're also learning how to manage some of these internal barriers that stop us from pursuing greater things in our lives and expressing bigger things through the way we live our lives. So yes, it's very important to understand that you cannot compare yourself with somebody else who sounds better than you, or somebody else who has, more natural ability when it comes to singing, because every single person has their strengths and weaknesses. And what really matters is how much do you really want to work on your voice? How much do you really want to work on the internal barriers that hold you back from pursuing whatever it is that really matters to you? And maybe working on your voice wouldn't be the best way for you to work on those barriers. There's so many different ways to work on those barriers too. It's just that as a voice coach, that's what I focus on. So plus, singing is a really fun way to do that, because there are other ways to work on our barriers, but they may not be as fun for you as singing. So yeah, really important, don't compare yourself with anybody else, because you are where you're at, and we have to start somewhere, and we all started somewhere. So even for me, I grew up in a household that didn't exactly encourage singing and expression. Typical Asian family in Singapore who are a bit more conservative, so we're really not that expressive. But I do remember when I was a child, we had some karaoke sessions where we just sang some like simple songs like "How much is that doggy in the window?" Woof woof, like stuff like that. Okay, so there was some music exposure in my household, and plus my mom made me learn piano lessons ever since I was 6 years old, all the way up to high school, and at some point I took up violin lessons as well. And then I was also very fortunate in that when I went to high school here in Singapore, which we call it secondary school, but it's kind of the equivalent of high school elsewhere. I had a music teacher who basically our music lessons was all about singing. So the love and appreciation for music is already there in my journey, and coming back to it again as an adult, it wasn't difficult for me to reconnect to that experience and that love and that appreciation that I have for music. A lot of professional singers, a lot of times it's because when they were growing up, it was something that they were encouraged to explore ever since they were very young. And that's why they have that natural aptitude for it, and they also have this inclination to want to pursue that as a path for themselves. Okay, so please don't confuse, professional singers with us everyday singers, because everybody can be a singer. Everyone was born a singer. It's just that we lost our ability as we grew older. Like if you didn't grow up learning music, and if you were in school and you didn't exactly have a very passionate music teacher, because most of the time the music teacher is like the science or math teacher who get thrown the additional role of being the music teacher. Yeah, those things influence the way we view music and singing as well. And so you're gonna have your own learning curve, whatever that is. So don't compare yourself with somebody else, and just trust the process. Trust whatever exercises that your voice coach gives you, and just do them and practice them consistently. And believe me, when you get those basics down, you will definitely see results. And even if you're not like starting from step one, learning those exercises again and practicing them consistently too would give you a whole lot of improvement that you may not otherwise see. And I know sometimes it gets difficult. You might even feel discouraged if you feel that you're making very, very, very slow progress. But trust me, slow progress is better than no progress. Slow progress in the long run would eventually lead to something. Whereas if you were to give up and get discouraged and just stop yourself right there, you don't ever see how it plays out. So when I thought of this topic today, it's also because I'm trying to encourage myself in my own Spanish learning journey. Spanish is a language that I've been wanting to learn since like 10 years ago, and then I took 2 semesters of it when I was in college in the US. And in terms of reading and writing, I think I do pretty okay because I'm more visually inclined. However, with speaking and listening and understanding Spanish, I struggle so much with it. So I decided that one of the things that I wanted to do every single day as well was to give myself opportunities to really expose myself to Spanish on a daily basis. And it has to be auditory. It has to be something that I listen to and try to replicate by speaking, instead of reading and writing, which is what I'm more stronger in. But because this is what I'm weak in, then I have to work on that. Like my ex-boyfriend, he was proficient in languages. He picked languages up just like that. Like he would listen to something and he would just be able to replicate it. And I was so jealous, and part of why I really didn't push myself that hard in learning Spanish was because I felt inferior compared to him, because he was able to pick up he is Spanish and English speaking, so he was able to pick up Brazilian Portuguese just after 6 months being in Brazil. He was able to pick up French just like within a month of learning it in college. And then he went to China for 6 months and he was able to pick up Mandarin as well. And you know, it's like, and I'm just like, you know, I spent the last 10 years trying to learn Spanish on and off very inconsistently, and I'm still struggling with it even today. So yeah, there is a sense of, you know, wanting to compare ourselves with other people who are also in the same journey, or who know that language, or who, you know, have better skill set in that area, or better strengths in that area, or better proficiencies in that area. Same thing with singing, okay? Some people are more musically inclined just because they have exposure to music and more appreciation and learning in it. Some people are not. And it doesn't matter which one you are in your own journey, and you're at the step that you're at. You are going to struggle with whatever you need to struggle to get through it, and that's just how the journey is. But you are not alone, because I'm here, and I totally get that struggle, because as I've shared with Spanish language, I'm struggling too. So yeah, okay, don't compare yourself with anybody else. Just keep working at it. Consistently practice whatever it is that you're learning. Practice the basics over and over again, and keep drilling them, and do it in such a way that you are really pushing your boundary and pushing your limit. Because I promise you, the more you keep going at it, and the more you don't give up, and the more you just consistently practice and keep working at it, you are going to see results over time. So if you have enjoyed today's video, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, or you can also directly message me through any of my social media links, or whatever other links that are in the write-up attached to these videos, and I will see you next week.